Hello. Hello. Welcome back to Shootin the Shit. I'm Ollie.
Hello, Rich. What a way to start the show, Ollie.
Yeah, no, I forgot what we were doing for a moment. It's been a little while, a bit out of practice, a bit rusty, because we're so practiced and skilled beforehand. But yeah, no, let's shoot some shit. Had some trouble finding things to talk about for the show. I was looking for stuff recently, all this week. Not really using the best source for news, admittedly. Facebook trends, a little bit on the sidebar, but it's all just filled with shit. It's just been all shit this week.
Yeah.
It's, things about X person doing Y action on Z social media. I shit you not, yesterday, one of the top trending stories, which people have written articles about, that people have then shared and read. Kim Kardashian tweets husband Kanye happy birthday.
Well, that's big. It's big. Kanye's time.
No, it's
3,
not.
4, I believe.
The big 3-4.
34, bro.
That's not a significant age.
I think he's 34. Is he 34? Yeah, I think he's 34. That's big. People die very young nowadays, man. Like, to reach 34 is pretty impressive. Fair enough, we've got medical advancements and whatnot, but...
Yeah, this isn't, we're not living in nomadic tribes, are we, anymore? We live slightly longer than 34 on average.
Yeah.
In the US in particular as well.
Fair point.
Western world.
But yeah, that was the biggest... Was that the biggest trending thing on Facebook?
Yeah, it was one of the ones that was included before you extended the list to see, but I don't know, it's just... I was going to say I don't know why anyone would write that article. I do know it's to attract clicks and ad revenue.
Yeah.
But I don't know who the fuck is reading this shit.
Someone who's either obsessed with Kim Kardashian.
Follow her Twitter. If you're interested in what she's tweeting, follow her on Twitter. Why are you going to a third party to see a screenshot of a tweet? Yeah.
But some people are not interested in Twitter. Like, it doesn't mean they don't want to know they're not interested in having a Twitter. Doesn't mean they're not interested in what's happening on Twitter.
Well, you don't have to tweet. Just follow people if you're interested. Most of these big celebrities have public Twitters anyway. You don't even need to sign up. You can just look at it if you're interested.
Fair point. And another thing is, other people might be interested in Kanye West. That's the reason why they're interested in following us,
Follow him on Twitter. I'm sure she tagged him.
We're interested in the intricacies of their relationship that is in this public.
She wished him happy birthday. That's not news.
That's awesome. But, we're seeing that these are everyday people, Fair enough, they're getting all this money and whatnot, but, they actually, wish each other happy birthday. Who'd have thought it?
Just like us. Just like us. But I mean, these articles, I didn't click on it, not interested, but I imagine it is just a screen cap of the tweet and then filler about recent news, second pregnancy, and of course, I'd imagine they try and shoehorn Caitlyn Jenner in.
Oh, Caitlyn Jenner. Caitlyn Jenner! She's an interesting...
Attractive.
She's not bad looking. Like, if I was, like, on a night out and I was...
Looking for an older lady.
Pretty blasted. I'd give it a go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Wow.
But there's been a lot of uproar about that. Like, the one thing that I don't like about this whole Caitlyn Jenner thing is that it's been handled in the completely wrong way, in my opinion. There's so many people that are changing their sex, and she's monopolizing, media at the moment. There's nothing else that is actually being publicized or reported on, it seems, other than Caitlyn Jenner.
You mean regarding trans issues?
Yeah. And there's loads of people who are doing it. Like, I don't understand why it's become such big news. Fair enough, he's, known for being Kris Jenner's bitch, but, well, now he is a bitch.
Oh my days.
Anyway, I just, when there's like things that I'm going to use what Snoop Dogg. 'Cause Snoop Dogg actually wrote a tweet saying about, basically if you want to see real news, go to GGN, which is Snoop Dogg's own little, YouTube channel. But he was basically saying about how, I think he put up a meme about how Caitlyn Jenner is a science project. And there's a lot of people that have got upset with Snoop Dogg saying that they're going to unfollow him because basically he's a transphobe. Or transphobic, and I disagree with that.
It's a slightly transphobic remark.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he meant any sort of harm by it or if it was just tongue-in-cheek. I don't know Snoop Dogg.
Mm-hmm. I'm not condoning what he said, but to be honest, she is, to some extent, a science project.
Well, wouldn't say a project. She's still a person.
What I mean by that is, I'm sure that...
Would you say a model with fake breasts was a science project?
Yeah.
Would you really?
I would.
Are you just saying that to me?
No, I really believe that.
So you'd say that?
Yeah. Well, the doctor who's doing it is like, he's undertaking a project to make her into a better being than what she was. She had like a flat chest, now she's getting double Ds. That's awesome. It's a science project.
What about a cancer patient? They're on the receiving end of medical advancement. Is that a science project?
It's a science project to get rid of the cancer. That surgeon is doing a project to get the cancer out of them and to cure the individual. So it's not a bad thing what Snoop Dogg said. People just
I suppose in the case of a surgeon or a doctor, then you have to not maybe objectify people, but you need to be able to put sort of a barrier between you and them so you don't get emotionally attached, particularly if you're doing sort of like complicated surgery or working with potentially terminally ill patients.
Yeah.
Then obviously you probably do need to be able to remove yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'd hesitate to call someone a science patient.
Okay.
It's slightly clinical, science project, not patient.
Yeah.
Do you not think it? Well, it's just like sounds clinical.
Yeah, but it's not as harsh as what people have said. I don't believe it's transphobic. But then again, I'm not I am not transgender, am I?
I don't know.
I'm
not that I'm aware.
I can assure you, I'm not. But so I obviously from that perspective, I can't comment. But to me, as an objective person in this scenario, I believe that people are being very oversensitive. They need to just chill the fuck out.
I have seen some people from, believe it or not, Tumblr of all places, saying that it's offensive and transphobic to comment on how Caitlyn Jenner is attractive or looks like a woman now or passes.
That's foolishness.
Well, I think the argument is that she's always identified as a woman.
Okay, but her body is of a man. At present, well, before she's undertaken.
She had. I've not followed the surgery.
She did a Vanity Fair shoot, and I think she's got some boobs now.
I've seen like the cover.
Yeah, and she's also got rid of most of her facial hair.
Most of?
Or all of her facial hair.
Okay. Just leave a moustache for shits and giggles.
So she is, because when this first came out, I didn't think she was going to go for hog, and I thought she was just doing this as a Kardashian / Jenner publicity stunt. But it seems like they are actually, well, she is actually going the full hog, and getting it all done. So I don't understand. Fair enough, she was born in the wrong body. But, just, I don't think that people saying that she's attractive now is wrong. Like you're basically ostracizing her, basically being like, you can't you're making her a special case, if that makes sense. You're making her an issue, like what she's become now an issue, and I don't think you should do that.
Well, it was inevitable, wasn't it? Because she is high profile runner.
Yeah.
Which brings me on, sort of related to what we're just talking about whether or not she has always been a woman.
Yeah.
And seeing as we love talking about petitions, I don't know if you saw the petition. As you know, the argument is she's always been a woman.
Yeah.
Therefore, she can't have the medals. She won as Bruce Jenner because it was male events at the Olympics. She has to return.
That's a difficult one because.
Is it?
In terms of physiology.
Yeah.
She has the body of a man. At present.
Well, her sex is male.
Yeah.
Like, that is what it's called when you have an X and a Y chromosome.
Yeah.
And the resultant, that results in a typical general physiology and behaviour. Obviously not set in stone, but that's what it is.
Yeah. So I don't feel.
So obviously it'd be ridiculous to take the medals off of her because she was male at the time. But then that brings up the interesting point of if a man transitions to female, and then they compete in female athletic events, is that
they are allowed to now? There was some stipulation basically.
When you said they're allowed to in
they are allowed to
in the Olympics or.
I was reading it the other day where you've got to have been on taking the hormone replacement treatment for a certain amount of time, and you need to have undertaken the full corrective surgery. And I believe if you follow those, there's a third one. I can't remember what the actual.
I think the hormone therapy, does that not, it makes the bones less dense or something like that, it reduces bone density or something.
Okay.
So that might be why you have to take it so long, just so you've got sort of a less typically masculine.
Yeah.
I could be talking bollocks, that could just be a spurious internet fact I've picked up.
Well, there's I think there's what's that sport which Ronda Rousey is really good at?
MMA?
Yes, there's a transgender person in that, and she was basically talking about the fact that her physiology is that of a man. So basically, she wouldn't fight that person because it's dangerous for her.
Sorry, someone else was saying
that basically they wouldn't fight an individual who's a transgender within that sport because obviously of the different physiology and the fact that it's dangerous for a man and a woman to fight against each other. So you've got individuals that are obviously a bit nervous about that, but as long as
there was that same woman, she really kicked the shit out of one of the girls she was fighting, didn't she?
Ronda Rousey, she beat someone.
No, not Ronda Rousey, the
transgender. Yeah, she did fuck that shit up.
Yeah.
So, but then again, she is a woman now. Well, she is a woman. So, if you're in that industry or that career path, you're gonna find some people that are likely to fuck the crap out of you. So, you've just got to.
Well, I suppose it is slightly strange to complain when you get into a ring that someone's kicked your head in.
Yeah, when you knew what you were getting into when you actually went in there. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah.
I think people should just get over this Caitlyn Jenner thing because at the end of the day, it's not really that worthy of all of our time to be worrying about what she's doing. I
suppose it's an important step, sort of in terms of representation of trans people.
Is it though? We all know that there's transgender people.
Yeah, but a cover on Vanity Fair, that's.
If this was any other person, no one would care.
I find that hard to believe. I don't know. Vanity Fair, have they had transgendered cover stars before?
I don't think they have, but the point I'm making is why are we making such an issue out of this one person that is a media whore?
Well, because they've gone through a very difficult
Mm-hmm.
sort of transition that, you know,
I'm sure there's
a lot of people don't accept.
Yeah, there's a lot of other people that have gone through a lot worse issues in terms of transitioning.
Well, yeah, it's
you know, like
not an oppression Olympics, though, is it? It's not about who's had it worse.
Yeah, but think about how much
The fact
money...
is, there's been a lot of discrimination and stuff against trans people. So if one person, even if happens to be someone who married into a media war family,
yeah,
then it's still sort of a positive step, surely.
She is very clever. This is what I'm saying. Like she's capitalizing. Like she's made so much money from this.
Well, how much of it is her fault as well? Like it's very people complain about like the Kardashians, and we spoke about this before about Kanye West.
Yeah.
Is people sort of villainising him and stuff, and there's all the stories about all the crazy and sort of arrogant shit he does.
Mm-hmm.
But then if people weren't interested in reading about this, if people weren't clicking on all the links, then, you know, the people make this, people make these people.
Yeah.
The public make these people even.
Okay, that's a fair point.
We make these people. Here we are still talking about Caitlyn Jenner's. You bring up why are we making a big deal about it? We just spent the last 15 minutes talking about it.
Okay, let's stop airing her business. So there's another interesting thing that's happened this week, which is the Tim Hunt, I believe it was.
Oh yes, this happened, 2 days ago now? Pretty gender-heavy discussion today.
Yeah, he said some very interesting things regarding women and men in science, and talking about basically that, wasn't he talking about changing, well basically that women and men shouldn't work together, because obviously women, you know, you fall in love with them, you end up having a relationship with them, and then basically you criticize them, and then they end up crying. So, in other words, there's no place for women in the science, or in science even.
Yeah, I believe his exact words were something along the lines of, you fall in love with them, they fall in love with you, and if you criticize them, they cry.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, slightly outdated point of view, perhaps.
So that's the thing, I'm not going to use that age-old excuse that a lot of individuals used to say about those that still have racist views, saying that they were born in a different time, so that excuses their behaviour. But I think what people need to understand is, and acknowledge, is the fact that he's actually said it was a joke, and people are too sensitive. You said this before.
Well, he's had to resign his post at UCL, hasn't he?
I think that's ridiculous. You've ruined a man's, you know...
What do you mean you've ruined a man's career? Who are you talking about?
I'm on about all these feminists that have got upset over a joke.
Well, I mean, he did introduce himself as a bit of a chauvinist, and then immediately suggested that women and men shouldn't work in the same labs. I don't know, sort of at an event funded by female researchers in South Korea. It seems like a very poorly timed joke.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he should lose his job over it, because he's a scientist, and if he's good at science, then he can have whatever outdated views he likes. But the fact of the matter is, we've sort of moved on.
Yeah. I generally believe that I work with women in my lab.
Well, yeah, this is relevant to us because we both work in life sciences labs.
I haven't fallen in love with them, and I'm sure they haven't fallen in love with me, so I don't see it as an issue. So, to me, I really can't say that I've experienced it.
I mean, so it's kind of as offensive to men as it is to women, because it implies that we're all sort of lusty horn dogs, can't really keep in our trousers, can't concentrate around women.
Yeah.
It's sort of, dare I say it, sort of borders on the whole sort of, oh, she was wearing this, she was asking for it, sort of.
Giving into that primal instinct.
Bullshit.
Ravaging women.
The sort of thing that sort of ISIS
right on that lab bench
would do, you know, sort of segregate. Not that I can see ISIS letting women work in labs, but I don't know, it's just a really outdated. Oh,
I was saying that from the perspective of someone from ISIS, not my own opinion. I respect women, you know. A woman brought me into the world.
indeed.
The greatest gift to Mother
Earth.
What I did find interesting is one of my heroes, the amazing, think of it, Kate Hopkins, has chimed in on these
Of course she fucking has.
these latest events. So she's quite outraged by the fact that he's had to resign his job. In a tweet, she said,
Did he have to, or did he choose to?
I reckon he had to. The uproar that he was getting, because like even the university has come out and said that they're...
Well, because he was an honorary professor, wasn't he? Right. So I don't know how much teaching honorary academics do, or how much actual research, or whether they're mainly sort of publicity and ceremony and all that. But
I think UCL did come out with a stance saying about how they're one of the universities that were, you know, they're trying to get that whole equal acceptance. Like they're not trying to discriminate against genders. So, like with them coming out against that and standing against fundamentally his point of view, that sort of put him in the position where he had to, you know, leave.
Well, it's just a stupid thing to say, really. Like, I don't know the bloke. He's come out, he said, oh, he's joking.
Yeah.
I can take that, you know, give him the benefit of the doubt and take that face value. Mm-hmm. Like I said, it's still just a slightly twat thing to say, especially given that it was at an event being put on by female researchers. Yeah. Do you think this will harm women in STEM subjects? Women going into them? Because, of course, quite a high proportion of men in these subjects traditionally. Do you think having big blokes like him come out? I mean, he's fat. I mean, renowned.
No, in fact, I think it will have the opposite effect.
Yeah.
You're going to have a lot of women that are very offended by what he said. And they'll be like, well, no, I'm going to go into that now and I'm going to prove him wrong. You know? I can go work in a lab and not fall in love with a man and cry because he's criticised me.
I think there might be some truth to that. Because I think women, when women have the opportunity to go into careers that perhaps traditionally they weren't allowed into, say medicine, etc., they take those opportunities. Whereas the reverse isn't necessarily true of men with traditionally female careers, such as nursing, for example.
Okay.
If you were to go onto a nursing course, it's still going to be predominantly female students.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think it will
harm
put women off. I think you're right. The sort of women that had the determination to get into academia, again, you know, probably be fired up.
Yeah.
Ready to do some science, bitches.
Oh, I didn't quite say what I said about the Kate Hopkins event. I'll say it anyway.
Oh, yeah, you didn't even say what... Yeah, sorry.
So basically she said, Sir Tim Hunt resigns from UCL. Bloody hell. Public shaming has reached in proportions. ISIS and another guys conform or get out.
That's a tad extreme, isn't it? Because, don't get me wrong, there are some loud, angry, radical feminists that they haven't put someone in a cage and set them on fire, or eaten a person's heart, that sort of shit. I mean,
they may not be physically doing so, but you know,
spiritually metaphorically, they are
doing that.
They've burnt Tim Hunt.
Yeah.
Mad burn.
Burnt his shirt. And then she also said, if you actually read behind those words and you stop flapping your bingo wings and moaning just because you're a girl, you find that actually he was being quite truthful. His point about falling in love not being terribly helpful is because he thinks that it creates an imbalance and an unequal playing field, and it disrupts the science. To that extent, if you read what she says, I can agree.
Well, no, that's bullshit. You just said just now that you work with women in a lab and you've not fallen in love with them, and none of them have fallen in love with them.
Yeah, I haven't fallen in love with them. But in situations where it does occur, you can see how it's very disruptive.
Well, that's true of any workplace relationship, isn't it? Sort of if you're both working in the same office or the same store or, whatever building you're in or outside.
Yeah.
Maybe you're both park rangers. But if you fall in love with someone at work and it goes tits up, then that's, gonna shit up your work day, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's not a STEM specific thing. That's just having workplace romances can backfire.
Yeah.
This is why many people obviously like to keep their personal and business lives completely separate.
Fair. What I don't like about this whole at the moment everything seems to be geared towards women.
Is it right?
So you've got this whole Athena Swan thing.
I've heard vaguely about that.
You've got like campaigns just.
Should probably explain what that is for people listening.
Oh, I don't even know it fully to extent. I just get irritated.
It's an organisation, I believe they're involved in increasing numbers of women in STEM subjects.
Everything's sort of pampering and catering towards women needing to have more importance in the scientific field. But in my opinion, if they are worthy enough, because sometimes with this Athena Swan thing, it's about giving more opportunities. So basically, women will get employed over a man.
Mm-hmm.
But in my eyes, if you're good enough to get in a certain position, you'll get in that position. Like, you shouldn't get it just because you're a female,
So you're not in favour of positive, affirmative action, basically?
No.
In any instance. So, in any circumstance.
That's maybe a dangerous thing to say. In that circumstance where it comes to women, then no.
Right, no. Okay, interesting. How about people of colour then? Do you think anything should be done specifically to increase their numbers in particular career paths?
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Right, I do. Okay. Why is that? I stopped him.
I believe that the subjugation, is that a nice word to use?
Well,
of people of ethnic...
Not really.
Subjugation, no. The discrimination of people in ethnic minorities far outweighs that of what females have had to endure.
Well, that's not entirely true.
Females have always been protected by the males.
What about
days we've gone out and hunted and got food for them.
Oh,
and
dear.
They just had to sit at home and look after the household.
Oh, dear.
They don't technically need to go to work. They can literally just sit at home and we could be...
Well, that's not true in this day and age, is it? Because you can't keep a family.
Child,
Rich.
That's what I believe they should be doing.
You trolling bastard.
And to be honest, they are the weaker sex, so that's what they should be doing. Nothing.
Well.
Sorry.
That was awful.
Just went on a little rant. Yeah, I don't know really what else to say. I think as well, the feminists have just ruined a man's career.
Well, I wouldn't say they've ruined his career. He's in his 70s and he's resigned from an honorary professorship.
Yeah. But generally, you always remember the last thing that someone did. Do you not? Like, fair enough, they may have had this amazing career, but then, it's marred by this fact that he said this statement about women.
Well, it's not quite the same as, say, finding out about Jimmy Savile's sick deeds and it ruining every episode of Top of the Pops from back in the day, is it? I mean, he made a poor joke.
Mm-hmm.
Again, just saying, giving him the benefit of a doubt.
Yeah.
It's a joke. Don't think he should lose his job over it.
Mm-hmm.
Twat thing to say.
I wouldn't even say that.
Yeah,
it goes down to this thing where like you've got the right. You have the right to say whatever you want. Like you should have the freedom of right to say whatever you want. Fair enough, you have the freedom of right to be offended. But
true,
then
but then you put things in the context of where you are and what who you're addressing.
Mm-hmm.
If you're again addressing a room full of research scientists,
but then you're
in an event organised by female academics, and if you come out, mate, I mean, he says it's an ironic joke, but I mean, it doesn't. When you read what he said, it doesn't particularly come across particularly as a joke.
Yeah, but then that's like, say for example, when I have a conversation with someone and I'm clearly taking the piss, but because I deliver it in such a dry tone, no one gets it. He's clearly done the same thing.
Well, you say he's clearly done the same thing. You don't know him.
Neither do I. He's said that he made a joke.
Yeah, people can say a lot of things.
Yeah, fair enough. He said it after the fact, but
True.
Well, you're not exactly going to say before you're going to make a joke. Oh, I'm going to make a joke now, guys.
No, but you might.
I don't think women should work at all.
Signal by giving a little chuckle.
Oh no! I just think people have become.
Well, it's just an inappropriate joke, isn't it? I mean, you just bear in mind the audience you're delivering a joke to. Was it likely to go down well at this venue at this time? No.
Don't do it then.
It's just lack of common sense.
Yeah. But then it's a lack of common sense for the females that were present at that event as well.
In what way?
In what way? Like, why would someone come to an event aimed and geared towards women and then make a joke about women? To me, that makes the irony is there. Like, why would you do that?
Right. Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying?
You're saying that because it was in context such a ridiculous thing to say.
Yeah.
That it was clearly meant to be ironic.
Yeah.
Well, again, it's still a stupid time to say it.
Okay. Do you reckon there is a lot of sexism? Because I was reading another article basically about how this sort of reflects sexism in STEM areas. And basically saying that you've got all these old, biases in your mind that you've got to compete against. They may not be open or like out there, but people have these biases internally that they feel. And basically saying if you've got individuals like this, thinking like this, is sort of impeding women's progress within science.
Well, I believe it's actually there's more females currently sort of enrolling in sort of particularly soft sciences, so like life science, social science, sort of undergrad degrees and sort of postgraduate.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot, I believe, there's more sort of reasonably high numbers in the sort of early career. It's the later career where sort of there's really disproportionately far more men.
Yeah.
I mean, one possible explanation could be that by the time you've got a PhD
mm-hmm.
and you're doing your first handful of sort of what many people outside of academia won't realise is you don't necessarily in your early career go to one place, get a contract, and that's where you work.
Yeah.
You do a year, 2 years at institutes, possibly even as low as 6 months.
Yeah.
If you're sort of in your late 20s, early 30s, and you're looking to have children,
mm-hmm.
then that's going to interfere, isn't it? Because a lot of places aren't going to want to take you on.
Yeah.
They're only going to give you a contract of a year or less.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to spend half of it.
That's the reason why I think that it is right, because I was listening to a BBC, I think it's Radio 2. Oh shit, I listened to that radio station. I was bored one day, I was driving home. But anyway, I was listening to a Radio 2 interview, and they were talking about the fact that, you know, people are more likely to take on a man because he's less likely to take time off when a child's born. You know, like it's more expensive to hire a woman because you've got to pay her when she's not there working. And to that extent, I agree that women should be paid as much as men.
Well, I mean, that should go without saying, really, shouldn't it? If you're doing the same work and you to the same quality, you should get paid the same.
No, I don't think you should be paid the same. That's what I meant.
Well, you said the opposite.
Oh, no, I don't think they should be paid the same. Because if you think
that's fucking stupid.
No. It's not, because they are likely to leave.
What about women that don't have children?
Well, then, they can get paid the same.
Well, you can't tell if a woman's going to have a child or not.
Well, they should just fire them as soon as they have a kid.
Well, I mean, if you did that, you'd end up in front of a workplace tribunal.
No, it should become law.
They'd sue you through the arse. And rightfully so. You can't sack someone for getting pregnant. That's fucked up, man.
That was their fault. They should have used a condom.
But what if they're religious? What if they just want a kid?
No, but I think as well that you should actually state. I think that's a good point. That you should actually state that you're thinking of having a child.
No.
Yes, you should.
It's not the employer's business.
It is. Because
what they should do is we should increase paternity rights in this country, paternity leave.
That's a good point.
Then that would enable women who had careers. It would perhaps give them some breathing space to start reintegrating back into the workforce sooner.
Okay. Fun. Yeah, that's a good.
There we go.
I can't argue against
Full
that.
of good ideas.
You are.
That's why I'm doing a PhD.
Woo.
Twat.
Yeah, that's why I said that. What was another thing I was actually going to say about that?
I don't know.
It's going to be outrageous. It's probably not worth saying then.
Probably not. You're out of steam.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've been going for a little while. I think we've really talked some complete bollocks today.
I have indeed.
So, yeah, it's been a pleasure. I've been Ollie.
And I've been Rich.
And we'll catch you again to shoot some more shit on Shooting the Shit with Ollie and Rich.
Woo.
See you later.
Peace.